I was sitting in a cafe in Toyama Prefecture with a woman across the table from me. Her name was Yayoi Nagishi. She was a part-time worker in her 30s, living in Toyama City. She and I were meeting because she said she had some long-standing worries about her childhood home. Her son, Kazuki, would soon be turning 7. She told me that one day he had brought home a copy of Strange Houses from his elementary school library. Apparently, the floor plan on the cover had caught his eye. However, he'd struggled with the decidedly adult book and couldn't read many of the words, so he asked his mom to read it to him. Nagishi promised to do just that, but for only 10 minutes a day, just before bed. She told me that as they progressed through the book, though, it started to stir up old memories, slightly unsettling memories that had been buried deep in her subconscious. Nagishi. There was something odd about the house I grew up in, but the place was torn down ages ago, and things are so busy now that I just stopped thinking about it. I suppose I had actually buried those memories, but as I read that book, little by little, they came back to me. Memories of that house and my mom. Nagishi's expression darkened at the mention of her mother. Ever since, it's all I can think about. While I'm doing the dishes, while I'm at work, all the time. I thought talking to whoever wrote that book might help me feel better, so I contacted your publisher. It's not like I'm expecting you to uncover some hidden truth. I think I'm just hoping that telling someone will help free me from the burden of my own past. But really, I'm just putting you out. I'm sorry. Author. No, not at all. I've been talking to lots of people about all kinds of houses and floor plans ever since my book came out. It seems that collecting stories about strange floor plans is becoming my life's work, and it sounds like your story certainly falls within that field. So it's no trouble at all. In fact, I like the idea that your taking part in my little hobby like this might also help bring you some peace. 2 birds with 1 stone and all that. I'm glad to hear you say so. Nagishi took out a notebook and opened it on the table between us, revealing a house floor plan drawn in pencil. There were obvious traces of lines erased and sections scribbled over. It seemed clear that she had been slowly dredging up faint memories as she drew, erasing and redrawing over and over as new details emerged. My childhood home was in a residential neighborhood in Takaoka, Toyama Prefecture. It was a single-story house. It never felt uncomfortable or poorly laid out, but this section right here always struck me as odd. Even as a child, I wondered about it. She pointed at one part of the drawing. What is this hallway for? How exactly do you mean? It doesn't lead anywhere. It's a dead end. And if it weren't there, my parents' room could have been that much larger. It always bothered me. Why on earth did they waste that space when they built the house? When she put it that way, it did seem odd. The spot was too narrow to serve as storage, and there were no doors or windows there. You could only call it a hallway to nowhere. I did ask my dad about it when I was a child. Just once. I asked what it was there for. For some reason, he changed the subject. It was like he didn't even hear me. Him ignoring my question irritated me, and I threw a bit of a tantrum. I kept at him, whining and asking over and over, "What is it there for?" Dad doted on me, and normally he'd have given in immediately. But that time he simply refused. He wouldn't say a word about it. It sounds like he must have had a very strong reason to avoid speaking about it. I can only assume so. My parents both helped the construction company to set out the floor plan. So he must have known why they included that hallway. So when he was so reluctant to tell me, I started to feel like he was hiding something. And what about your mother? Nagishi's expression darkened again. I never asked her. Or rather, I suppose I couldn't. We didn't have that kind of relationship. In my experience, you couldn't truly understand the secrets of a house without understanding the people living there first. I had a feeling that Nagishi's problem with her mother would be key to unlocking the mystery in this case.